What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG.
And I'm NB.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Riverdale Season 6, Episode 6. And it's called Chapter 101, Unbelievable.
And it is so unbelievable that we are back. Because it's been a hot minute. Guys, stick around. If you guys remember, we do Recap Recon. Not recon, roundups.
Roundups. We do recon too, but
yeah, we do recon too. Stick around for the end of the podcast. We're gonna go through our recap roundups, our best moments, our best lines. Some of you guys sent yours in. I think it's still a little bit early. I don't know if everyone's watched the episode yet. It aired on a Sunday. Very awkward, very random. And I don't know if next week is gonna be on a Sunday again, or was it just this episode?
No, I think it's just coming back on Sundays now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're like Game of Thrones Sunday night status now.
Sunday nights. Yeah,
got it.
That's where they're at right now. Yeah.
Okay.
In their lives and in their journey. And as always, to our continuing listeners and our brand new ones, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the episode.
Oh my God. It's been so long. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Back. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it.
A year later, 3 months later, 4 months later.
Yeah, like our last podcast was what you said, 2021, December.
Yeah, December.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
How many months is that?
We're
like December,
back.
Jan, February,
almost
months. 4 or 5 months. Damn,
yeah,
it's been a long time.
It's
guys, you guys keep messaging us on our IG, being like, "Where are you guys?" Like we're sorry, we took a little break, living our lives, and now we're back with Riverdale.
Yeah,
super excited. Yeah, let's get into the episode. Yeah. So let me just ask you, where we left off last episode was basically still in the other parallel universe, right?
Right.
And then
it kind of like combined, like
right, it like Big Bang.
It was the Jughead paradox. Big Bang. She ended up coming back. She got the phone call from Jughead that she didn't know who it was, and then explosion.
Right.
They ran downstairs. And that's kind of like where this episode begins.
Okay.
So let's start it off right away. Frank and Alice and Jughead, Betty, Archie are talking in the Cooper house. And they're just recollecting what happened, giving us a little recap of what happened with the explosion and then about the mystery call. And Alice says, "I'm taking Betty to the hospital. Like, I don't know about y'all, but like, you gotta go." And so that's what happens right away. And then Frank,
I love how Jughead was like, "I don't have insurance."
He's like, "I can't go." And I'm like,
I was like, "Oh, we're talking about healthcare now."
America. Yeah.
America.
I forgot about no healthcare. So while she takes Betty to the hospital, Frank goes with Archie back to the house. And he asks Archie, like, where did they hide? Like, they said that they hid under a table, but then when you look at the table, he's like, the table's like basically cut in half. It's like burnt and like whatever, smashed to pieces.
Frank's face was very like confused, and I was wondering why his face was like, it wasn't so much like worry, it was like, wait, like what's going on here? He's like, wait, you said you guys hid under this table? He's like, the table that is Dunzo right now. And I was like, oh, like he doesn't believe their story.
Or he's just like, that's very odd.
Very weird.
Why that happened, or how you even survived that. And then as they're in the house, they finally realize that or they remember that they have a dog, and the dog starts like crying.
Whose dog was that though?
It's Bingo. It was like his dog with like his army buddy.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
The one that they adopted. Yeah.
I'm like, I thought it was Vegas, but that was after the
like
timeline. Yeah, the time jump.
So they hear Bingo crying, and they have to like pull him out of the wood, whatever. Then it cuts to Pop's diner, and Jughead walks in. He's like, and Tabitha's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And he basically says like there's an explosion, and he asks that he could stay with her, and he leaves. And as he's leaving, his ears are like ringing still.
Yeah.
So you mentioned this, I think, at the finale, or I guess like the break or whatever, like he might have an issue with his ears. I don't know if you remember that, but
yeah. Why did we say that in the last episode? Because we saw him, like we saw the garage exploding.
Yeah, and he like it. I think that part ends with it like harsh ringing. So
yeah, I mean, like, if he's in the garage in the house, he's definitely gonna have some sort of like side like symptoms. Like it's a huge blast. It was a huge blast. Like
Huge
that's
loss.
not a
It's like
joke.
dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so I guess that's what how it starts. Whatever he uses ringing. We're not really sure what's happening with him. And then I guess you remember. So I guess we can talk about it really quickly now. But there's so much of the Riverdale that we didn't like didn't carry over. Like so much of it
Mm,
didn't carry over, and some of it like is happening still, but like almost in a different way. Like he's living with Tabitha now, but in Rivervale they
yes,
moved in
now it's
together.
happening. Yeah, yeah. It's
So, and
it's
I'm
funny that you said
noticing little
that.
things like that happening, like where
Yeah.
like the Rivervale version of it was like mystery and magic, and then
Yeah.
this version of it is like adjacent to it, but it's still kind of happening in the same way.
Yeah.
Because this is not the only example of that,
Yeah,
but I
because
thought it
when
was
he said,
interesting.
yeah, when he said that, I was like, oh, I'm like, wait, I thought they already lived together. And then I'm like, oh no, that was in Rivervale. So
Yeah,
yeah,
a
it's
little
almost like
confusing,
things are
but
happening now that already happened, which is
exactly
still
like
cool because then it's
we'd
like we
already
know.
seen
Yeah.
how it's gonna like play
Yeah.
out kind of. So then it cuts to Kevin and Fangs and Tony at the apartment, and again something that like I didn't realize like did not happen yet is Kevin tells them he wants to go to Broadway, so he's like made up his mind he wants to go to Broadway, and then they end up telling him, which I thought that they already did, that they're
Yeah.
now together. And it was a weird call out. I don't know about you, but they were like, but don't worry, like we're still bi.
It
I'm
was
like, what?
so weird. Like it was so weird. It's
Like,
like,
did we
but don't
need that?
forget, we are still both
We're
bisexual.
still bi. Yeah,
And
I was
that
like,
means that we are a part of the community. I was like, okay, like we didn't need that extra
I don't.
part.
Yeah, I didn't think that we needed like the extra call out by any
Like,
means,
what was
but
that for? For
cool.
like Fangs to after be like, don't worry, Kevin, we still have a chance because you
You
know.
and I can still get together. Like, who knows? We'll see. Yeah. So that part was interesting. And then he gets a call. Kevin gets a call right away about the explosion from his dad, and then obviously Gossip Girl goes and tells Veronica. He calls her, and Reggie are in bed, and she gets a call, and then it turns out that she like connects that it's like because of Hiram at that point in
Right.
time. So like it's all like going through the train.
So can I ask you, do we 100% know that that was Hiram? I
Do
guess
we
it's
know like
implied because he was like tick tock, tick tock.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we as an audience know more than they do. I think they're
Okay.
assuming a lot of things.
Yeah.
I think that we have like substantial evidence that like he was the one that did
And
it
like
and like left.
we talked about this too on that in that episode that the last episode with Hiram. Like
Hmm.
this is like when you've become a villain now. Like you tried to blow up, like you legit tried to. I know he's tried to
Yeah.
kill him before, but this was such a severe way of trying to kill Archie that I'm like, if Hiram was still in the show, like there's just no way back from this. Like that's
Yeah. There's
pure
no coming back
evilness.
from
So
it
like
for sure.
it's so hard for me to believe that he did this, even though we did get that scene of him being like tick tock, tick tock.
I know, but I think that it was his time to like turn that corner. Like he's
Yeah.
banished. He has nothing else to lose.
Yeah.
Like I get why his character went that way, but anyway, we can't really harp on Hiram anymore because
Well, apparently we
um
can because he's still a major part of the show.
well,
So
well this plot device. Yeah. So then it cuts to Thornhill, and then Britta tells Cheryl and Nana about the bomb, the explosion, and then Cheryl like freaks out because just before Rivervale started, that's when like the curse was enacted.
yeah,
She like curses Jughead and Betty and Archie, and
yeah.
she's like, "Oh shit, like I did that." And then Nana weirdly says, "Oh, like because you got so sketched out about the curse, I actually like burned the book as soon as you like did it. So like
Like the
don't
spell
worry
or
about it."
whatever. Yeah.
Nana is literally the ringleader. Like, forget
She's
Hiram, forget all these evil villains. She is the villain of Riverdale. Like,
like,
let's be real.
shout out to Nana for being like a D character in season 1 to like now
Yeah,
she's like main character,
full
like
time.
full-time
Yeah,
cast member.
she's a part of like the full time cast now.
Yeah.
She's like a part of the main cast. But in Rivervale, she dies, right? Is that right?
Well, yeah, remember
I
when
don't
they did
remember
that whole
anymore.
switch out?
She
Oh
the
wait,
transference,
the
right?
transfer. Oh
Or
my
did she?
god, we're going all the way back there. Yeah, she did the transference, but she went back into basically someone else's body, no?
She went
Like
into
the soul of Nana
Cheryl's
went.
body,
Yeah.
but then Nana still died. Doesn't
I
Nana
think the
still
body,
die?
like her physical form died. Yeah, the old like lady.
Okay, okay.
I'm pretty
So
sure.
interesting. Anyway,
Wait. Yeah.
I don't remember if she's like still sitting on
And
the
then didn't
couches.
Cheryl's soul go into her body and then like she was dead or something? There's a whole
Oh
video on
yeah,
it
they
on
like
our
switch.
Instagram.
We gotta watch our own video to figure out what the hell happened.
Oh
But
my
anyways,
god.
so Nana's back. She can't reverse the spell anymore. So Cheryl's like, oh, fine, I'll figure out another way. Then it cuts to Frank and Archie at the vet. Turns out that all of Bingo's legs were broken, and they're gonna keep him overnight until he's a little bit better. So sorry,
Again,
dog.
one of these storylines where I was like, why are we here right now? Like, why are we learning about this dog? But then I'm like, okay, I get like
It
obviously
all
like
connects
at the
after.
end.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Then it cuts to Jughead at Tabitha's apartment, and he's typing away. He's writing this article, and he gets this ring in his ears again. And she
Mm.
comes in to kind of like grab him, and he didn't even realize. And turns out that he's writing this article exposing Hiram. It's like this big expose, and that's kind of where that scene ends. So increasingly, you get these moments with Jughead where like his hearing is starting to go, or like you're not really sure what's happening with his hearing. Then it cuts to the White Worm. Fangs is pissed off. He's like, this bomb explosion, this they tried to blow up Pops, like all this stuff is happening. We need to go after the ghoulies.
Because
Like
the implication is the
this is the
fact that
moment.
Hiram like hired the
Hired
ghoulies
them.
to put the bomb in there. Like obviously Hiram didn't do
Yeah.
it himself.
Yeah. So it turns out they have a new leader, Twyla Twist, and
Don't get it twisted.
and don't get it twisted, but Tony Topaz wants to like barter some sort of deal. Now that Hiram's gone, she's like, maybe like we can create like peace within like the
Yeah, because
ghoulies
basically
and
she's like,
the
I'm a
humans.
mom now, so like I
She's
don't
like,
have
I don't got
time
time
to
for this
fight at
shit.
a bar. So she's
Yeah.
like, we need to end the war.
Yeah, exactly. So then it cuts to Thornhill, and Cheryl creates these like little cute little poppet dolls that are on her Etsy shop. And she wants to undo the curse. So basically she needs to like burn the candle, and then
In
within 24
reverse or
hours,
something. Yeah,
and then it like lets go. As soon as the candle is burnt, it will be gone.
yeah.
So then it cuts to Betty in the hospital, and she's talking to Archie, and it turns out she did like injure herself.
Yeah,
She broke some ribs, and she's like, if you didn't like shield me, if you didn't like cover my body, like I would have been dead. Like you saved my
yeah.
life. And he's just like confused because he's like,
He's like, I
I'm
did
in no
shield you.
pain.
Yeah.
He's like,
He's like,
I
and I'm
am the
not her.
best. Like, I am unstoppable. What is happening to me? So I mean, realistically, that is what he says. He's like, what's happening to us?
Yeah,
What's happening to me? Because he's really confused. We're confused as the audience because I'm just like, what is happening to him?
yeah.
And also, I wasn't sure at this point in time
No,
why they
no.
were introducing all these different elements of like, he's unharmed, she's got broken ribs,
Yeah, I
there
had
was
no
a broken
idea.
table. I was like, maybe you guys forgot it. Like, why did you lie about where you guys were and the how? Like, I wasn't really sure what was
Yeah,
happening, to be
yeah.
honest. But anyway, that all gets cleared up later. Cuts to Thornhill, and the next morning, Cheryl checks in on the poppets, and the candles were blown out. So she goes straight to Britta, she goes straight to Nana, and she's like, "What the f? I told you guys about this. I was trying to figure it out, or trying to undo this curse. Like, who blew out these candles?" And Nana's like, "No, maybe it was the wind." And Britta's like, "I would never do that to you."
Mhm.
So she still looks at Nana, and she's like, I
She's
think
like,
it was
bitch, the
you.
wind, it's in the basement. There's no
Yeah,
wind.
unless you're Cheryl, who like can call on the wind.
That's true.
Um, so obviously Nana, like it cuts and the camera kind of pans back to Nana as Cheryl's leaving, and like she's looking sus,
Yeah,
like
yeah, 100%.
very suspicious.
She's like,
She's like, she's gonna figure out my secret. Then it cuts to the hospital, and Betty's leaving, and she kind of like gets this like
like
intuition, and
vibes.
she sees this guy named Trevor pass by. She like sees his name tag and like whatever. She doesn't think anything of it because obviously Betty's had her moments. So she's like,
But there is like
okay,
a
whatever.
red glow around him. Like all of a sudden,
Is there?
yeah, yeah, yeah. If you notice it, because everything starts to slow down. And then she looks
Hmm.
at him and then he looks at her, and literally like around him, there's like a stroke of like this red glow. And I'm like, what
Oh.
the hell is going on?
Okay, so that's when it's first introduced, that
Yeah.
like moment.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to Tabitha and Jughead having dinner, and she's talking to him, but again, hearing spaces out.
Yeah.
And she finally grabs his hand and she's like, "You're getting a phone call, but like you can't hear me, or like you weren't paying attention." And it turns out it was the Wall Beat Journal, and they want to do a national expose story, picking up his story to like expose Hiram Lodge. Sorry, I was waiting for that one to come through. And then yeah, so like his story's going national, he's excited, but like Tabitha's like starting to now get more and more concerned for him. Then it cuts to Betty and Veronica talking. Finally, we have a scene with our girls. But basically, she tells Veronica, like, this is what's happening. Like, the FBI is basically going to go after your dad. And Veronica's like, don't worry. Like, I'll do my own digging. Like, I'll talk to Hermosa. Like, I'll see what's going on, see if I can find him. And we can figure this thing out. Like, where's my dad? Cuts to Archie working out. And he weighs himself and he got COVID weight. So like he's 30 pounds heavier than he was last week. Me too, girl. And so like he's not really sure what's going on at that point.
It was interesting because I was like, I wonder where they're going. Like, I knew where they were going with doing this weight thing, but I'm like, I hope they explain to the viewers like what the fuck's, because like he's just like doing the skit, and I'm like, okay, but
It's like,
what's, are you losing weight? Are you gaining weight? And then he was
yeah.
like, 150 pounds last week, 30 pounds this week, 190
Yeah.
pounds. And he's like adding it up. He's like, I
Yeah,
gained 30 pounds. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
we're spelling it out for the audience.
Math. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you, because I don't know what's happening. Like the oldest school like weigher too. Like you couldn't just get a digital
Yeah,
scale and call it a
obviously. Yeah, it
day.
has to be like the vintage.
um Anyway, so then cuts to Alice telling Betty, she's like, I gotta go. There's a new story at the hospital. Like some like hospital worker's body was found with their throat slit in the back of like the hospital in the dumpster. So like she's like, oh shit. So then obviously Betty's like starting to like kind of put things together. Maybe there was something shady, whatever. Then it cuts to Veronica and she calls Hermosa to help find Hiram as well. So Hermosa's like, don't worry, that's some shady shit. Like, let me go see if I can find him. Like, I'll like check my contacts and like check like the safe. She's like, there's some safe houses or private places that maybe we could find. Then it cuts to Betty at the FBI agent's office, and like it is lit up in Riverdale. Like there is like
Yeah,
70,
it's
there's like
booming.
so many agents
Yeah.
ready to go, and they're trying to find Hiram. That's their main case. But then on the side, she asks like this other agent if she could help look up the person that she saw in the hospital, the guy named Trevor, and see if like you can dig anything up about him. The girl's like, don't worry, I got you, girl. Then it cuts to Veronica and Reggie talking, and he's like, we're good, like what's poppin'? And Veronica is like pissed. She's like, I'm gonna put a bounty on my dad's head. Like it's over. Like we need to like end this
And
now.
this.
Like he
Yeah.
is like just like you said, he's crossed the line. There's like no coming back for him at this point.
How
I
did
need
you
to like
feel about that, her reaction?
listen, I think it's fair, but I still and I will always hold true to the fact that I never thought that they got enough closure and enough
Mm,
like healing around their relationship before he left the show in general. Like I wish they had their moment. I wish that they actually had a chance to talk it out, cuz like I think even at the very end Hiram was like still very withholding to like his story. Like he legitimately told, like we talked about this before, but like
mhm.
he's told Reggie his backstory. Like
Didn't
Veronica
even
knows nothing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
she probably wouldn't have done what she's doing now if she knew the whole story. So I don't know if it
yeah.
was a writing thing or they just wanted to get to this point where like she does something extreme, whatever. I wasn't happy with it because I just feel like your dad, you would never want to just kill your dad.
And
But then at the same time, like
yeah.
he did try to like kill her friends.
No,
So
for
like I don't
sure.
know.
It's just one of these things where first of all, like get the full story. Like you don't even know the full
Yeah,
story yet. Like from where I assumed she was just gonna go find him because he's hiding somewhere underground. Like just
right.
ask him, call him, be like, Dad, what the F did you do? Like, did you actually like she just went and killed him, like she put a hit on him,
Yeah,
done. Like it was a
yeah.
very escalated, like quick reaction from Veronica.
Hmm.
And I feel like there's gonna be like huge implications for her
Oh
and what
yeah,
she just did,
major
like
major
which is
consequences.
exciting because like I feel like it's like starting something crazy in her storyline. I feel like she needs something like crazy
She
because
needs something for
she is
sure.
very like removed from like the main sort of storyline.
Right. I mean, this is probably the first thing that's connecting her, like her trying to fight her
Yeah.
dad for Archie, who tried to get blown up. You know, like it's all starting to come together. I will say something about her storyline later, but like I'm most intrigued by how it's all going to play out later.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Same.
we'll talk about
Yeah.
that in a bit. Cuts back to Betty talking to Glenn at the office. He's like drunk, she's like working late, and he tries to make a move on her, be like, hey, so like who you
It's like
seeing right
what you
now?
doing
What you
tonight?
doing, girl? And she's like, get away from me, you're a
She's like,
weirdo.
I'm dating Archie
I'm having sex with Archie, like we're together
and he's
now.
better than you've ever been. And he's like,
He's
I
like,
doubt it.
uh-huh. And then it kind of like shows her eyes, and then this is the first time I saw it,
Oh,
like
okay.
her eyes, and then it zooms in to like her perspective, and then he has
It's like
like the red
glowing.
glowing around him, and then she's like caca, and
Well, and
then
he tries to like
punches him.
grab her, first of all,
He
like
tries to like
fucking
grab
so
her. Yeah.
inappropriate. Like they're at the office. He just
Yeah.
again, like I
He's
feel
just
like
so
he escalated very quickly too. Like I don't
he is, yeah, for sure.
like I don't know, whatever. It's fine.
Like
I like that
I,
moment though when she knocked him out.
yeah, it was a good moment, but I agree with you. I feel like it got to a point where I'm just like, they just made him like exactly
Very
what we assumed
evil.
he was gonna be,
Yeah. And
like
he hasn't
very
acted like
creepy.
that. He hasn't acted like that thus far. He's acted like a
Yeah.
little aggressive and like he wants her or like whatever, but like not
Mhm.
like in this way.
Yeah. So
So yeah.
I was kind of like,
A
okay,
little, yeah,
cool, punch him. Like we all
whatever.
want to punch Glenn at this point anyway, so
Yeah.
it's fine. Then it cuts to Mary, and she shows up at the house finally. We finally see Mary, the homeowner of this fucking burnt ass house, finally showing up after like a full season. And she's walking around, she's
She's
crying.
like,
She's like, this is
this
such a nightmare.
house. And
This
then
house,
Archie's
it
like, I know,
breathes.
mom, I'm sorry about the house. She's like, no, I don't care about the house. She's like, I'm just crying thinking about you in the house.
Yeah, she's like, that must have been real fucked up. And then she's like, I still don't understand how you were like not hurt.
Yeah.
And then she's like, it was Fred, it was your dad. He
Mm,
was the one that
he was protecting
helped you and
you.
saved you. And then they had a sweet little moment, but
It
still
was
like
cute.
Archie's like, but
No, but it cuts to Frank, and Frank's like, no, no, no. Like, that wasn't my brother. He's like, there's something else going on here.
Archie be sketchy. So then it cuts to Veronica, and she's like talking to like an actual mob boss. Like I think his name is Anton.
Anatoly.
Yeah, Anatoly or
Anatoly.
something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wrote it down in my later notes, not here.
Because he
But
has to be Russian if he's an assassin.
yeah, right. He just had to be the person like super super sketchy.
Yeah.
So she tells him like, get it done. Like I don't want him to bother me anymore. Wink,
Yeah.
wink, wink, wink. Like she doesn't say kill him. She just says like, don't make him
Right.
an issue for me forever. And then he's like, don't worry, I got you. And then in that moment, Reggie gets a call, or she gets a call from Reggie, and he's like, my dad just had a heart attack. So
Mhm.
things are escalating quickly everywhere, like in everybody's
Yeah.
world. Then it cuts to the White Worm, and they're sitting down with Twyla and her goons, and they're trying to like figure out what her situation is. And she's like, like since Hiram is gone, Tony's like trying to like talk it out and negotiate something. She's like, we don't have to fight anymore. Like, let's just like stop.
Mhm.
And Twyla basically says, like, actually, Hiram is still funding us. And we have two missions. One is to destroy the town, and the second is to kill Archie. And then she just dipped. She's like, I just did this as a courtesy, but like, we're getting
She's
paid to
like, clearly you're
kill
weak
and
AF.
destroy.
And she's like, I'm not scared of you. Like,
Yeah.
also, like, Tony, come like strapped, come
Like,
packing. Like, it's like her
prepared.
and her like baby daddy, like sitting there at a
He's
table.
like,
And she's like,
please don't hurt
we
us.
don't want war, but we are also, I'm like, no, you don't look scary at all.
Yeah, there's nothing threatening about you at
You
all.
know what I just
Anyway.
realized? I wonder if like now that Veronica killed her dad, if that's
Mm.
what actually happened, like if they'll come for Veronica, because basically she said she's like Hiram deposits, like basically he e-transfers us every month if we like do good work. So like if those e-transfers stop, then
Yeah,
they gonna come
they don't really
knocking.
they don't got no money anymore.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing. Anyway, I guess it's kind of just like how everything plays out, cuz like if she just waited a couple more days when Hiram like died, then like she wouldn't be getting any more money anyway. So like Archie wouldn't have had to do the things that he did
Oh, I see
anyway.
what you're
It's
saying.
all,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they probably would have like been like, okay, actually, sorry, like we're not gonna fight you anymore,
True.
because like we have no more money. Anyways, cuts to Archie and he's cleaning up, and this is when he's starting to realize like something really wrong is with him, and he like gets a cut on, or like he checks his like shirt
There's
and
like
there's
a
a
nail
rip
sticking out of the wall, and he like randomly walks by it, and the nail rips it
through his
would have ripped
shirt.
his skin actually, but like it
Yeah,
rips his shirt, and there's like nothing on his skin. He's like,
right.
what the F? Like that's
So then he
weird.
grabs like this plank that has nails in it, and then he like pushes the nail out the other side, and then he checks his hands,
Oh, is that
and
what he okay, I
he's
was trying to
unscathed.
yeah, okay. Yeah, he basically like he like jammed. I was trying to understand what he was doing, but like it yeah, he jammed his hand against like the nail, and then he realized like, oh shit, like it's not even affecting me.
Yeah. So obviously he's got superpowers or something. Like there's some sort of supernatural thing happening with him.
How did you feel about this like now that you're
Reveal.
starting to like see what they're doing like with Betty and like the glow and like him with this, like how did you start to feel about it all?
Truthfully, I'm not, we're so like, honestly, and I know this is, we say this all the time, and this show is like something that you just have to kind of jump into, but we're so far removed from season 1. It's like not even
We're
funny anymore.
past that, we're in a different universe.
Like Riverdale was like pushing you to the edge, like
Yeah.
magic, but it's not really Riverdale, but like paradox. And I was in on Riverdale up until like the last episode of Riverdale, until like went back to normal.
Yeah.
This element is a little bit too much
Much.
for me. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. And I saw a lot of tweets and stuff. People were like, guys, we have enough like DC comic book shows. Like, we have enough superhero things. We don't
Right.
need to have this in Riverdale. But I
Yeah.
will say, I can see what they might be doing with it in the sense that like it just might be sort of like the fragments of what just happened. And it
Mm-hmm.
obviously might not last forever. Maybe it'll last for like one more episode and like they'll notice that their powers like will go away or like it'll just
Right.
change. Hopefully it'll change. Um, because there's obviously some like remnants of like that other universe
So
colliding with theirs.
you're hoping that it's like a temporary
Yeah,
situation.
I definitely hope it's temporary. Like this is ridiculous if like Betty just sees like red glows everywhere. Like
Yeah,
she
I
got
don't
like a
know what
cheat
they're
on
trying to
basically. Like
do.
she's gonna know everyone who's evil. Like
Cheat
she's gonna be
code.
like the best like FBI agent.
Yeah. I agree with you. I hope that it's temporary, but I don't know if it's going to. And I the reason why I think
And
that
what's
is because
Jughead's?
the C, like he has hearing. Like
Like
maybe
what's
his
his
evolves into
superpower?
something else.
Yeah,
Like
it must. It must.
maybe it'll turn into something else. Because the one thing that I thought was maybe it's connected to this curse that is like never ending,
Mm,
and like maybe that's why they have superpowers. But then you would think that it would be like trying to get like make them weaker, like not
mm,
stronger. So I wasn't sure if that was a connection, but something did happen to all three of them. So I was like, the only three
yeah.
thing that happened is like the curse that's aligned with
Yeah.
it, but I'm not really sure how that even is involved. um but yeah, I'm worried because the CW is known for their superhero shows and their multi universes and creating the Flash and all these other things. A part of me feels like, are they just going to
Yeah.
slide Riverdale in there and have like Archie as like a character in the Flash, or
Because
like this Marvel universe is going to make some sort of connection? Because at this point, this is what I'm thinking. Like
mm-hmm.
I don't really know what they're going to do with it.
There is definitely an element with Archie comics where like they do get superpowers. It's not like
Okay.
the same thing. I kind of like looked into it a little bit. It's not all the same. Like Archie has other superpowers, but maybe they're
Right.
just trying to like also like throw a nod to like the comic books and like what they've done with Archie's character. But
Right.
again, like I would never want this like forever. I feel like it's like hopefully in the next couple episodes and like it'll be done after that. I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how it all keeps going. And I really want to know what the rest of the audience thinks. So, like,
Yeah.
listeners, let us know in the
Yeah.
comments below. Like, I want to know for sure, like, what you guys are thinking too. So anyway, as soon as he realized that he has superpowers, Mary says like Fangs and Tony are there to tell Archie to leave. There, he's like, where are the ghoulies at again? They say like, oh, they're at the docks, but like honestly, just go. And he's like, yeah, I'll go. I just want to like know where to like
Yeah.
not hang out.
Like not go, yeah.
So obviously, like he's gonna do something
His face
stupid.
looked so cute. He was like, oh
Like
yeah,
as
I don't want to go there.
he's like, yep, absolutely, I'm not gonna do anything there. So then it cuts to Cheryl, and she goes to check on the candles, and again they've been blown out. So she's like, "What the f is
She's like,
happening? This is
Grandma.
sketchy." She's like, "Nana, I'm gonna get you." So that's I think that's what she says. She's like, "I'm gonna figure something out." Cuts back to the FBI office, and the agent who was going to look into Trevor tells Betty that he was actually arrested before on drug possession, so like he does have a criminal record. And she also drops some tea that Glenn
Workplace
apparently on
tea.
their workout was telling people that she accidentally punched him in the face while they were having sex.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I heard you and like Glenn got like nasty last night. And she's like, you elbowed him. And Betty's like, oh God, no.
She's like, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
So obviously she's got to deal with that guy. Then it cuts to Archie, and he actually does go to visit the ghoulies like 2 scenes later, and is like ready to fight them because he is
Oh
essentially
yeah.
invincible at this point. Cuts to Veronica going in to check on Reggie, and Reggie has a moment where he basically says like, my dad is dying, like I just wish that we had more time together. And in that moment is when Veronica like has her like light bulb moment, and she's like, oh, she calls Anatole, that's his name, I wrote it down. She calls Anatole the mobster, and he's like, oh, good news, you saved me, like call collect, like I already killed your guy, like it's
Like
already
it's
been
been
done.
4 minutes. She's like,
Five
what?
seconds
Already? He's like, I
She's
work
like,
fast.
he's like, I'm efficient, I'm good, like let's go. And she's like,
He's
oh
like, I'll send you a
no,
photo too. Look at the
I'll send you a
attachment. I was
picture.
like, did you
She
want to
opens up the
see?
attachment.
Did you want to see the photo?
I always go like this with you because NB, you're always the first person to tell me like if you don't see the death on in
Yeah.
person, in on screen, it might not have happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a part of me even now still kind of is suspending my belief. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But she does look pretty shocked and
I
gagged and
feel like there's
traumatized
something
by
off with
the
this
picture.
story. I feel like it happened way too easily. For them to kill Hiram Lodge and not even like show him, not even a
Yeah.
nod to him, like nothing. This is how you're gonna kill a character that was on your show for like 4 or 5 seasons.
Force and like one of the main
It
like the
sounds
main villain.
ridiculous. And you went like through the
Yeah.
whole episode, he like drove away into the sunset, and like this is how you kill him. So I definitely feel
Yeah.
like there's something off with this story. Like I feel like he's setting her up or like making her believe that he is dead so that she leaves him alone, kind of thing, you know?
Right, right. And I wonder if that's all going to play out if the Ghoulies keep getting funded by him, like if that storyline
Yeah.
gets keeps continuing, like if they find out that like he's still
True.
paying them,
Then he's still
then
alive.
he is
Yeah.
still alive technically.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens
Yeah.
next. But so she's like freaking out, she starts crying, she's like, fuck, I just killed my dad. Then it cuts to Archie, and he's at the El Royale, and he's like covered in blood. She's like, Betty's like, what the just happened to you? And he's like, don't worry about me, like I'm actually completely unscathed, it's everybody else's blood. And like they don't talk about it in that moment, because at one point in time I was like, are you guys gonna talk about what is happening to everybody or what?
Yeah.
And she goes, okay, clean up and come with me, I need you to help me with something.
Yeah.
Cuts to Pop's diner, and Jughead is working, and some customers like asking for a refill on his
Yeah.
coffee. I want my coffee, give me my coffee. And Tabitha has to step in once again and like help him with the coffee. Then she turns to Jughead and she's like,
Because he doesn't
yo,
hear that the guy was
you
asking.
can't, you didn't hear that? And he's like, sorry, I've been spaced out. She's like, no, you're not spaced out, something is wrong, you need to like go check it out. And that's when Jughead like tells her basically like, my hearing, I got ringing in my ears, I'm not sure if it's getting worse, but like I'm scared. And then that's when they go to the hospital. But before then, it cuts to another hospital scene where Trevor bumps into Betty again, and she starts questioning him. She's like, oh, so you have a prior like drug possession charge, like what's the deal, like what happened, why did you get fired from your last job? And um he starts to realize like she knows like a lot more, and he starts to get like defensive. She starts to accuse him of killing the other like hospital worker for like
Mm-hmm.
not giving him drugs at this new hospital. And that's when you see like his blade come out and he's about to like kill her. And then in that moment, that's when, and he starts to glow. Like I think also like Betty
Yeah,
sees
yeah.
the red glow around him again, like it's very strong. And that's when Archie grabs him and he's like, you better don't do that to my girlfriend. And so like he's arrested. Cuts to the White Worm, and this is when they start to like talk about their superpowers. So
Mm-hmm.
Betty's basically like, I can see some auras around people ever since the explosion,
Like
like if
energy
they're
fields.
bad,
Yeah.
energy fields. And then Archie basically like grabs the scalpel and like stabs himself, but like it's like metal, like it like snaps off of his skin. And he's like, I don't know what's happening to me either. Like I'm just like invincible now. And then she kind of tells Glenn about like, or tells him about Glenn and like what he tried to do. And she's like, don't worry, like I'm gonna figure that shit out. Like, don't even bother with him. He's a loser. But then Archie, they have a cute little moment where like
Yeah.
Archie's basically like, I'm afraid of hurting you. Like I don't know what's happening to me. And she's like, don't
Why is he
worry, I
gonna
got like,
hurt her?
he's like gonna snap her as he's like, anyway,
Like,
you never know. He's probably very worried about like any intercourse experience
yeah,
because
it's
he's like,
like
I'm
made of
gonna
steel
destroy
penis.
you. Yeah. So so she's like, you don't have to be afraid of hurting me. I have like aura powers now. So like I'll know if you can like hurt
I'll
me, you
know when
know?
it's too much.
Yeah. I'll tell you my safe word when I see red.
The safe word is a red aura.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. So then it cuts to Thornhill and it shows Britta walking into the room and she's about to blow out the candles. And that's when Cheryl's like,
Bitch,
Kim
what?
Kardashian pulls out. Yeah.
Yeah, like
She's
I'm
like,
here.
what are you doing here?
I thought she was gonna
And
install like security cameras. How did she
I
know?
was
Was she
like,
just like looking in the corner?
yeah, yeah. She was just like
Oh
literally
my
like she
god.
like lurked out.
I was like,
And
that was your
then
plan? Like just waiting in the
good job,
room?
girl. Yeah, just waiting all night long. So that's when Britta turns around and she's like, hello, I am here. Like she has a completely different
Yeah.
voice. And it turns out that like Cheryl kind of puts it all together. She's like, she's Abigail now. Like, what's going on? So the next
Okay,
morning, she tells
can
Nana
I
the tea.
insert here? This is one of the points in Riverdale where the fucking storyline in the beginning of the season, if not even the season before, is still
Mhm.
happening now. I have forgotten who the fuck this girl is. Okay. Like it is so far. We've had like 4 hiatuses in between. Like, do you know what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say? Like, it's like the same recycled storyline. Like, just if it's her, just I don't know. Like they always do this. And at this point in the game, I'm like, okay, I literally forgot who this person was, what the whole historical thing was of this. Like, I just feel like it's always dragged on way too long.
Yeah. I mean, knowing that there's a magical connection and there's superpowers, I would rather it be connected to the magic than like they're literally having superpowers. So like
Yeah, that's
hopefully
true.
it's all, but I know I understand what you're saying. Like the Abigail storyline feels like it got finished at the end of Rivervale. So
Yeah.
why are we continuing it
And
on?
then
But
like the whole transference
there
thing
is
is
a
still
connection
like
there.
lurking there in your mind. So you're like, wait, but then
Right.
what would happen if that? And like it's just like a lot.
So Nana goes on to say, Abigail is probably controlling Britta's body. Like when you did the curse, like she came out too and like possessed Britta at nighttime. So now we have to perform a banishment spell. So once again, trying to F with magic, blah, blah, blah. Cuts to Archie's house. He's cleaning up and someone walks in and he has a very eerie introduction. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
slow motion shot. It's like the door opens. It almost like he's like a god or
Very
something.
creepy.
Very weird. I'm not sure how to feel about it. His name is Percival Pickens, and he wants to buy Archie's house. And Mary almost right away is like, sign me up. How much you want for it? This house is busted AF.
She's like,
And
I don't want it.
she's like, family home. Who needs it? Like, she's ready to sell that shit
Yeah.
so fast. And Archie's like, we're not ready to sell. Like, thank you for the card. And then he just leaves. He basically just leaves. But I think that he's got to be like an important character. He was only introduced for this first time, but like I want to know like what his
So
thing's going to
clearly,
be.
to
Like
me, it seems like he 100% knows exactly like what happened in the house. He knows that something either supernatural or something sci-fi-ish happened in
oh.
that house, and he's like, I need to get to that house to like understand what the F just happened. But then it's like,
Ooh.
how would he have known that?
How would he know? Yeah.
He must be like, I wonder if he's like a time traveler. Like I wonder if he like travels between the two universes, that he would even know that that would exist in this universe.
Mm.
So I don't
Interesting.
know, maybe he could be evil, maybe he could just be like a mysterious figure who like knows more. And maybe Archie will like ask him like, hey, why do you really want this house? Like, like maybe he'll be able to answer
Yeah.
more questions of like how the two universes collided and like how to get shit back to normal.
Or it's going to be like a charm situation where like if they take out a map like Archie's house is like at the perfect epicenter. It's kind of like going to be like a freaking Buffy the Vampire Slayer situation where
I
like
hope
the town
not.
is in the center of hell, whatever, whatever. You know what I mean? Like
I hope
some
not. Yeah, like the
crazy shit like
Hellmouth, but
that.
like, oh, like again,
Um, I
introduces
don't know.
such a big supernatural twist, something that was never a part of that like storyline from the beginning season. So
Yeah.
I don't think I would like that, but maybe there's just something to say about that the two universes, like the bomb creating that thing, you know? I don't know.
I'm nervous for this show. Anyway, so then he leaves, cuts to the FBI, and like all the girls are hanging out. Glenn walks in and he's like, "Where's all the boys at?" And Betty basically goes up to him and says, "All the boys got reassigned, including yourself. You're not going to be a part of this like crew anymore. Also, you are now part of an ongoing sexual assault or sexual harassment
Like
investigation."
crazy.
And then she says, "Fly, little bird, fly." So I thought that was really cute. She got her moment to be like, clap back, go fuck yourself, and let's move on. So then it cuts to the hospital, and Jughead comes out, and Tabitha. It's such a sad moment because Tabitha's like, "What happened?" And he's like, "I literally cannot hear you right now." But he basically says like, "I'm 98% deaf in one ear and like 87% deaf in the other ear." So like his hearing is basically
Bad.
gone.
Yeah.
Like it's really really bad.
I really
So
wonder
she
what's going to
hugs
be his
him.
superpower. Oh my
Or
god, do
like
you think it'll be
maybe
like
not
hearing
everybody.
hearing people's like thoughts or something? That'd be crazy.
Ooh, because like he's a
And
writer,
he's a
he needs to like
writer.
understand people's stories.
Maybe.
That'll
Cuz
be
otherwise like
interesting.
why would you lose your hearing so that you hear maybe something else?
Higher intuition, yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he becomes like an empath or something.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting,
Yeah.
especially for his character because his character, I feel, we've talked if we want to go this far with him, but like we've talked about how like kind of self-serving he's been.
Mm,
Like he's been in survival mode for such a long time and he's had to try to like
yes.
figure his own life. If he's more connected to more people and he has to like hear them and understand their
Yeah.
pain and all that, maybe that'll humanize him a little bit more.
I
We'll
would love
care for
that.
him a little bit more. That'll be an interesting
My other
take on
question
his
to
story.
you is like, fine, if we're gonna sit in this a little bit and we're gonna sit in, Archie's superpower and Betty and Jugs, Veronica doesn't get anything. Like she doesn't get to be a part of this at all, which kind
She
of
got to deal with her
in
dad's
in the
death now.
yeah, like in the grand scheme of things, I get it, it doesn't fit, but like also she is a part of the core four, and like if this doesn't happen to her,
Yeah.
like it kind of like I would be cheesed a little bit if I was Cammy and be like, how come I don't get anything?
Like, how come I don't get anything? Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. But that's the thing. There's so many different things happening in parallel with each other that it's hard for me to be like, what is important at this point? Like,
totally.
is it
Yeah,
the realness or is it this like magical supernaturalness? Like, now that they've introduced this element, I'm just like, you guys had so much story that you could have told, and now you're like taking it to the next like
another
universe,
level.
literally.
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know how much I like their stuff as much as I like her stuff. Like I feel like
yeah.
hers is at least rooted in
The real,
reality.
yeah.
Their stuff is like weird to me. I don't know. So anyway, cuts to the White Worm, and Archie is talking to his mom, and he's basically like, "Mom, why don't you just sell the house to me?" And she's like, true, I can make coin off of you.
She's
So
like,
like,
son, how do you have money to buy a house? He's like, mom, this house is worth like $20,000.
yeah,
Like
she's like, it's Riverdale. Like the market is very,
it's
very
like
low
not
right
hot.
now. Yeah, it is negative. It is
There are
freezing
no
cold.
other bid offers on this house.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. She's like, but Percival asked me if he wanted the house. Um, Also, I was like,
Also, it's your
Mary, you're not
son.
gonna
Like,
cut
why
your
would
boy.
you
Yeah, you're not.
sell it to your son?
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, you're not gonna cut your boy a break and just
Also,
give him the
like,
deed. Like
weren't Mary and like Fred divorced? Like, so wouldn't like
the house have gone to him
say,
anyway.
yeah, like, would it go to Mary? Maybe, unless they had a
I
prenup.
mean,
Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah, yeah. It is actually weird that Fred wouldn't have just left him the house. Like, just been like,
I feel
your
like they talked
possessions go
about
to
it.
my
I feel
son.
like they said something when he had first passed away that like Archie was like, "Mom, you can like own the house because like I trust." So I feel like something like that happened. Maybe not. I can't. I don't
And
know.
now she's got to go buy it back from his
Now
mom.
he's gonna go
So
buy it back.
she's like, based on the interest, the price is now
Like you
twice
don't
the
even
amount
live
that.
there. Just give it to your son.
Like I was kind of cheesed about that. Not to say that all parents should be giving their kids houses, but like
But also,
she
it's like
doesn't
a
even want to live
shack
there
now.
anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's literally half burnt. Like I know
Anyways,
you need the money, but like you're living in Chicago, like you're living your best life. Like you
yeah.
literally abandoned your son.
It
Like
was
give him
just
this
it was
house.
just a random like part of a scene that like I didn't really think
Yeah.
needed to be said. Cause like if her son wanted like, and she even said it earlier in the episode, she's like, "This house is your father. He's like always here, and like no wonder he
Yeah.
protected you." So like the first chance she gets, she like tries to sell off the house to like a random ass
Yeah. I was like,
person.
do you actually care? Like you clearly were ready to sell that shit right quick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It
Mary's
was a weird
sketchy.
it was a weird storyline. They could have just said, "No, no, we want to keep it in the
You keep
family." That's
yeah,
it.
keep
Like
the
it would
house.
have been done
Yeah.
right there. Like
Like, why is like her allegiance to this random guy? Like, what is she in on it or
she wants to
something?
make a profit of like 10K. Like what?
Yeah, like chill out, girl. Like I said, you're living in Chicago, like living your best life. Like take it easy. You're a lawyer.
Uh,
Like fuck.
our
So
fans are gonna love this rant.
I know, like going after fucking Mary Andrews, get out of here. So then it cuts to Veronica and she's like at home. She's been crying probably all night long. And Reggie comes in. He's excited because his dad is better now. He's gonna make like a full recovery essentially. Um, but like it was touch and go, and like now he's gonna be on these meds and like he can't stress as much. And then she lies to him and basically says like,
Yeah,
I
this is
thought about what you
yeah.
said, and I called off the hit on my dad.
Why do you think she lied? Because this was a pretty fucked up lie. Like she fully said she called off the hit. Like,
I
I mean,
mean,
technically she
she's
did.
now
She did call off
technically
the hit, but it was too
she
late.
tried to call off the hit, but it's too late. And that's the thing. I feel like she lied because for like probably multiple reasons. One, because if it all does come out that she did kill him, that is technically still a crime and she could go to jail for it.
Yeah,
And she
true.
probably didn't want to implicate Reggie in that whole situation. And two, like she probably wants to believe that she isn't that evil. Like she in her mind at
I
that
think
point in
that's what
time
it's
is
more of.
probably so delusionally like
Yeah.
sad and mourning this, like having so much grief over it, that she's like, oh yeah, like I totally didn't do that, like it's totally fine. But like she obviously knows the truth and
Hmm.
she's gonna have to pay for it at some point.
And it's almost like if she lies, it never happened. Like
Yeah,
she didn't really do it.
but
Um,
she's
do
gonna have
you
to deal with
think
this.
they're shaping Veronica out to be like an evil character slash like some sort of version of Hiram?
I think that this is gonna be her, it's going to be
Her
interesting. I
biggest
don't.
thing, like
Yeah, I think this is going to be her biggest arc in
yeah,
terms of her character development. I just don't know what I want to see from
true,
her
true.
specifically, because I think we saw like the smart, cunning Wolf of Wall Street, she Wolf of Wall
She will.
Street, and then we got like the revenge girl, but like I don't know if we got like really the mob boss
I always said,
corrupted situation from her. Like I don't know.
yeah, I always said I wanted to see evil Veronica. Like I was down for that storyline. I honestly, I
Yeah.
feel like right now is a little maybe it's a little too late, like especially if next season is going to be their last season. Like do you want to play with turning her into an evil character on the
Right.
last season? I don't know if that's something that I would have chosen for her, but would I have wanted to see mob boss crazy evil Veronica for a little bit? Yeah, I think I would have loved to see if the
Yeah.
money got to her, the power got to her a little bit, that fast lifestyle got to her a little bit. Like I would have loved to see that. And then obviously like bring her back down to like reality. That would have been so interesting for her character. I just
But
don't know
even
if
when
now is the
she
best time to do that. I don't know.
and I also just feel like they didn't set her up properly. I feel like
Yeah.
if they were going to make her like this mob boss, she could have leaned into that a little bit more, even in this episode, and been like, I got all my contacts, we're good. Like, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
this done. Like, really lean into the fact that she's this badass bitch now because she owns a casino and she like knows all these
Even
mob
remember the stock
bosses.
market stuff. The stock market stuff, she could have been like, "Oh, I'm making a shit ton of money. Like I'm playing people. It's so much fun." Like whatever.
Yeah, or like playing the people in the casino, whatever.
Yeah.
But like they never get all the way there for her, and I feel like it's because they want to make her redeemable. But at the same time, I'm also like, why did you give her a story where she basically killed
But
her
then she
dad?
kills
Like
someone. Yeah, like she
she
killed her
literally kills
dad.
her father, and like that's
Yeah.
a pretty bad crime slash thing to have done. So
I don't know.
I don't know what lies for her outside of like her just being sad and hating herself, like, or leaning in, like you were saying, leaning into like her evil now. Like, I am this person. I'm going to just be this bad bitch now. I don't know.
Yeah, and
We'll
like
see.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I always think that there's so much potential with these characters, and uh, they just don't do it justice sometimes. Like hers could have gone so many different ways, and it could have been
Yeah,
so freaking sick and interesting. But I truly hope that like they do something with it.
like anything,
Anything.
anything different. I feel,
Anything. Yeah.
but we'll see. Then it cuts to Thornhill, and Cheryl, Nana, Britta are doing this banishment spell. Britta's like literally like tied to a chair, and that's when she like does the whatever banishment. She like freaks out, whatever. She's like, ah, leaves. But then at the very end of that scene, Nana is holding the spider pin in her
Mm.
hand. So you like obviously know that Nana's like done something. We're not really sure yet what
What do you
happened.
think it could be?
Well, we find out what happens later,
Oh.
with like the possession or whatever. So then it cuts to Tony, and she gets a call from Twyla, who is now like pissed because clearly Archie went after them,
Yeah.
and
The
she's
timing is
now
so
like,
off of this too because it happens like
yeah,
so much later in the episode. I'm like, "Oh yeah, Archie did that."
like she basically is like, even Tony's shocked. She's like, what happened? Like, I forgot what was where we were at with the
Yeah.
storyline. So she basically says, Twyla's like, now we're waging war. I didn't know you were going to be that stupid because you have a baby now, but like now we're coming for you. And Tony's like, okay,
Oh,
thanks,
Tony's like,
bye.
"Oh my god. Like
Like,
what
we're
the F do
fucked.
I do?"
So then it cuts to Glenn at the FBI, and he's leaving. He's got his box packed, and Archie comes in through the elevator, and he like beats him up. Like, we don't even see it. I don't know if that was necessary, but okay, cool. Like, he gets his ass kicked. Then it shows Cheryl blowing out the candles. I think that's like what we see next. And that's when Nana comes in. She's like, hello, Abigail. Welcome back. So that's the storyline now.
So what did she do though? Explain this to me.
So I think in this moment she like she said that she like said another spell under her breath to like
God.
possess another body.
So who's Abigail now? Britta.
Who's Abigail? No, Abigail is now possessed. Like Cheryl's possessed by Abigail.
Oh my god.
So that's what I was saying with
But
the
then Abigail.
Rivervale,
Okay.
like with Rivervale being like kind of the story that
Yeah.
we get. There is some bleed through to like the real
Yeah.
Riverdale because now she is like,
Yeah.
she did turn into
Got
Abigail
it.
at
Got
the
it.
very
Like
end of
this
it
shit's
all. Like,
happening for real now.
yeah,
So
exactly.
we
So like
may
the
see the transference
folklore,
again.
we might see the transference and get even more confused again. Uh, um, fuck. Hold on, sorry. I'm gonna go. Jesus. Yeah, like I don't know what I want from this story anymore because,
Yeah.
like I said, I feel like we got it already. We were
Yeah, we
kind of
did
confused.
this.
We were kind of confused with like, but I loved this the backstory of Abigail, like this long lost love, and she wanted to like, like stay, like she stayed alive all these years, and like we got this story of the history of the Blossoms and Abigail, but now it's not real, and now Abigail's evil. Like, what is her like? Is she just like a bad person? Like, how is she going to behave in
Yeah.
Cheryl's body? Like,
And
what
what
is
does
she
she
going to
want
do?
right now?
What does she want?
What does she
Yeah.
want? You've spent an entire season. You took us into a parallel universe about this bitch. You took us in here, and like we're still on this. We still have no idea what the F is going on. Are you
Yeah.
gonna
I mean,
recycle that storyline that we already saw, or are you gonna like do something different, completely
I
different?
know. Because her thing was like, I want revenge against these descendants,
Yeah,
whatever. Like,
yeah,
which is why she keeps blowing out the candles. But like, you're right. We already did that for like 5 episodes, like for
yeah.
Riverdale. So
Like,
like,
did you not get
why?
your revenge already? Like, are we not done with this?
Like, are we not done with this?
Like,
So
why are you
yeah, I
so
don't
mad
know.
though?
Why are you so mad? Chill. Just take a sleeping
And why
pill.
would Nana want to help you? Like, what's her motivation for that? She's gonna
Yeah.
help you over her own granddaughter?
That's the part.
Like, you
That's the
know,
part. And I know I joked about it earlier, but like, why is Nana the kingpin of this
like I don't
family? And
mind
like,
if
why
Nana
is she?
was, but like, why? Just explain it to me. Like, give
But
me a
why?
reason why she would want to do that over her own granddaughter's like safety.
Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't make sense
Yeah,
to me in the at this point in time. Like, why would she want her to possess Cheryl's body? Like, does she hate Cheryl that much? Like,
yeah.
did
I don't
Cheryl do
know
something to her? Like, she's
these
literally been taking care of
motivations.
you
Yeah,
all this
yeah,
time.
exactly. Also, like Shawnee's non-existent. Like, let's just say that right now. Like, that's not even a thing.
Yeah,
How do
but
you feel
maybe
about that?
Abigail's gonna like reconnect them. Maybe she's gonna be like,
Oh,
I want my girl back.
oh, she'll be like
Oh,
hornified and she'll be like,
because
let's
she's
do
gonna see
this.
Antoinette and she's gonna be like, oh, you were like the descendants.
Okay, okay. Now you are
Okay,
talking about something
something,
juicy
something's
and
happening.
good. Okay.
Scissor
Okay.
sisters.
If that goes in that direction,
Yeah,
then maybe that is the link that will bring Shoni back together. Okay, I'm down for that.
that,
Good. I'm good with
but
that.
like with like Cheryl just being like sitting in a body like that's not hers. Like, why she's not even the
Yeah,
active
and then
person
what's
in
the
it?
significance of that? Because then it was never really Cheryl that brought them back together. Like you're gonna rely on the
Yeah,
ancestors that are gonna bring them back together. That doesn't make sense
I
either.
I don't know. I don't know what they're
Let's see what
doing.
happens.
It's very confusing. So then it cuts to Fangs and Tony, and they're asking Kevin to like hold off on your Broadway like debut. Come take care of baby Anthony for a
Poor
little bit
Kevin. He was
because
almost gone.
he was almost gone.
We
He
were
was like
almost
didn't
rid of
want to be a
Kevin.
dad, and now we have. I know I was like we were almost done with him, and they had to pull him back in.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Archie. So then he takes care of baby Anthony.
Sorry.
I
So
guess
they're
he
like,
can
just
have a
hold
moment
him
with
for
him.
us. Like, don't. I thought they said like go, but take him with you because that would make more
Yeah, yeah,
sense. Like,
yeah.
oh,
Like
he's taking him with him
he's gonna like protect him. He's gonna like
on
literally
Broadway.
like I don't know if he's gonna go on Broadway, but
Oh,
I
that's
think
what I
he's
was
gonna like
wondering.
take him to the Keller house and
No, no,
like,
I thought like he was leaving the city because then that makes sense. Like then the ghoulies can't
oh,
attack. I could be. I'm probably not right, but like
like Kevin's like not gonna be on the show. He's just gonna have a baby with him
yeah,
this whole
because I'm like,
time.
what's good? What's it good if like you live down the street, you just take him to your
Yeah.
house, like they could come attack you. Like you're not running that far.
Tell us where the baby is. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what I assume, but like maybe you're right. Maybe he's gonna be like gone with baby Anthony.
Yeah, maybe.
So like a baby's not
And
involved
it's like, how
anymore.
do you
It's
make it
so
on Broadway with a
complicated.
baby?
I don't know. I guess you just gotta put that baby to work. So anyway, then it cuts to Archie officially signing the papers of ownership to the
That's it.
house.
Sign the deed.
It's done. Your mortgage starts today. Mary will be collecting her paycheck the third day of every month moving forward. I can't get over that. Anyways,
Are
then
they
it
trying
cuts.
to like put realistic like adult like challenges in this? Because like they first mentioned healthcare and like Jughead's insurance and that he didn't have insurance and he couldn't go to the
Yeah,
hospital. And now they keep talking about like Archie's
housing
mortgage
market. Yeah.
and housing market. And like next is like interest rates.
So
Veronica
many
and
weird.
interest rates.
Yeah, she's like, "Don't worry, I got you." Yeah, I don't know what their whole situation is, but yeah, he has a
So
house
funny.
now. She's like, "Congratulations, your payments start next month." Then it cuts to Veronica. She gets a call at her desk, and Hermosa like reams her out. She's basically like, "I cannot believe you did that. You killed our dad." But how did Hermosa find out about this so quickly?
So I was
Like, are
wondering
we
that
just to
too,
assume that
because
she
I'm assuming
wanted to kill her?
she just assumed that because Veronica was asking questions. So Veronica just should have been like, I didn't kill him.
Yeah, she could have just been
Like
like,
she
"I don't know
admitted
what you're
it.
talking about." Yeah, she
Like,
basically was like,
Because
Bye.
all she
She's
asked,
hung up.
yeah, like yeah, like all she asked her sister was like, "Can I get like let me know where dad is?" Like that's all I wanted to know. She never
Yeah.
said she's gonna kill him.
Yeah. So then Hermosa just like put it all together and basically like
Yeah, and
accused
she
her.
but she
And
could have been like, "I didn't do it. It was someone else." He
yeah,
has like so many
Veronica's like,
enemies. It could have been like anyone.
yeah, she could have been like, Dad's dead. Like,
Also, like Hermosa, like if you're giving his address away, like bitch, you better be ready for the consequences of that. Like,
yeah. I mean, I guess she could have said, like, Hermosa, I'm gonna kill my dad. Like,
but maybe
he's
she
done at this
didn't.
point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I never
that's
know
the
where
thing.
Hermosa's like loyalty lies because like sometimes she hates him and then sometimes she like loves him and it's like I don't get whose side are you on?
Yeah, and at the same time, I'm also just like, at this point, she's like a voice on a fucking phone call. So
She's just
like,
a
we don't
voice.
know who you are, what you're doing.
It's
Like, do
so
you
true.
care? Are you even on the show? Like,
No,
what's your
they
situation?
pre-recorded all her audio like last year.
Yeah, the person who plays Hermosa reads the script and she's like, she just like finds out that her dad's dead. She's like, I gotta say that I'm gonna get vengeance on my dad who my sister killed. What? So yeah, I guess that's what she's doing. She's like, now like blood will play with blood. Like there's gonna be a war against Veronica. She's gonna have to deal with that shit.
But they already had a war together. And like, this is what I mean. Like, they've
Yeah.
already had sisterly beef. And where they ended off is where I thought they ended off. Like, they were good. Like, Hermosa
Yeah.
was like, I got you. Like, you're my sister. Like, we're always going to be together. So, like, I don't understand. I get it. Like, she killed their dad, but like, then don't give his information out. Like, don't tell him, tell Veronica where
Don't
he
say
is.
anything. Yeah. Or like find him yourself and be like, I caught dad. Like, don't worry. Or I guess
Yeah,
it was all happening so
maybe.
fast that
Yeah.
I don't know. Then okay, so whatever, Veronica's gonna have to deal with that shit. Before we finish off the episode, I will say, like I was saying this whole episode, I am very excited to see what happens with Veronica. Still a big question mark as to what that is, but hers is the most interesting story to me. And that is saying a lot considering there's literal superpowers and magic happening in the show now. I'm still very interested to see like what are they going to do to evolve Veronica's character? Is she going to feel guilt? Is she going to fess up? Like how is she going to play this? Is she going to become a gangster? Is she just going to lean into
Yeah.
it? Like there's a lot of possibilities with how her character can take this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see what happens with her, probably the most out
Agreed.
of everybody.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to Betty and Archie, and they're talking in the bedroom. They're like, "We had a crazy day," and they start making out. They get a phone call from the vet, and turns out Bingo's legs are no longer broken.
Like, amazing.
He miracle. Thank you,
Miracle dog.
Jesus. Miracle dog. No more
Thank you,
legs
Jesus.
broken. He's good to go. But I think it goes back to what you said. Like there is something in the house itself. I feel
Mm,
now that you're talking, because now that we've discussed it a little bit, it maybe isn't this curse. It is the house, and that's why Percival's so interested in
yeah.
it because there's something that happens in this house that is special and super powerful or
Yeah.
whatever.
But then it's
Because if
like,
this dog is coming back to life, like
but then
something's
it's
happening in
like,
this house.
oh, their superpowers work outside of the house too. Like they can leave the house and still have their powers.
Yeah, it's like activated in the
So when
house,
does it
and
get
then they
activated? And how come no one has been activated ever since like the beginning? Like why now?
probably like, and that's when I'm sure they'll bring the paradox conversation
Yeah.
back in and
Yeah.
say like because of the explosion and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, the
Something about
chaos, the
yeah.
life, the death, the whatever, like the thing that Jughead said last episode. Maybe that has something to do with it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Finally, final scene, Pop's diner. Glenn is leaving. He's all bruck up because
Archie
Archie
beat the
also
fuck
kicked his
out of him.
ass. He's going back to his car, and we get a final scene where he gets killed by the TBK.
Okay, I was shook. I was like,
And TBK like literally tells him why.
yeah. He's
You
like,
shouldn't have
why
done
would
that
you
to my
do that to
girl.
Betty? Don't fucking touch Betty. And then he like kills him. And
He
that
fucking kills him.
basically all of us thought he was the TBK guy. So he is
Yeah,
clearly not the TBK.
he's just the next
I was
victim.
shook. I was
So,
like, holy shit. I was not expecting that.
but that also means that the TBK now is officially in Riverdale.
Yeah, but hasn't he already been in Riverdale?
No, we've been assuming that like he's been away, like gone doing shit in
Who
other
do you
states.
want
Because
him
like
to be? Do you feel like it's someone that we don't know?
I really think it's gonna be
It
someone
has
we
to
don't
be. It
know.
has to be.
But at the same time, I'm also just like, why is he even still a part of the storyline? Like,
I thought we like
there's literal superpowers happening right now, and we're caring about this mass murderer who
if
is
people
trying
are
to save Betty but is obsessed with her. Like, what?
so
What?
if people are glowing red, she can suss him out. Like, she'll be like, that's the guy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe
TBK, yeah.
So like maybe that, but then it's like, you guys are literally going to give her a cheat code to find the killer. Like, she couldn't have found the killer on her own.
But then also, like, what is the TBK gonna do now? Like, is he just gonna be like, "Hey, girl, like, I really love you,"
and like,
I'm
is he
a super
obsessed with?
fan.
I mean, obviously he's obsessed with her, but like, he won't kill her. Then maybe
He won't
like he
kill
doesn't
her,
want
but
to
like,
kill
what does he
her.
want
He
to
just wants to
do?
like fuck her or something.
Or like just like keep her in the
Keep
hole
her.
forever.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what he wants to do.
Ultimately,
capture her.
guys, I feel like they're gonna have to, and I feel like they already should have done this. They should have introduced someone, maybe not as consistently as Glenn, but they should have introduced someone along the way where we just didn't think anything of it. I don't know. Like, to me, it being a random ass person that we've never even seen before, but he's
Yeah.
never even talked about him. Like, I don't know if it's gonna do it justice, the storyline.
I just feel like I forgot about the TBK until this episode. I was
Same.
like, oh, true.
Well, I just thought it was Glenn and he was just hiding because I'm like, who else is it gonna be realistically?
Right.
You know?
I don't know. I don't now.
But
I
now
have no
he's like
idea.
dead. So
Now we have to care about the TBK once again because who knows? And like, what's gonna be the final resolve to it? Like, is Betty just gonna be like, "You were obsessed with me. Thank you so much, like for like killing people for me"? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah,
that is the end of the episode. Let us get into the recap roundups, y'all.
Recap roundups.
Best moment. My best moment is gonna go to Archie kicking Glenn's ass. Like, we kind of saw it, but then ultimately, like, the ending with Glenn, just because I legit, like, when TBK like kills him, legit did not expect it, did not think it. I thought he was the TBK. Huge pivot in the storyline, like huge. And I don't know if their intentions were Glenn from the start, and then maybe now they've shifted it. They're like, no, we can't use Glenn anymore.
We can't use him. Yeah.
Either way, for me, I was like shook, and I rarely get shook in this show. So for me, they caught me off guard. Like, I like that moment a lot.
Yeah, I was really interested by that too. But yeah, I mean, like, R.I.P. Glenn. Like, Glenn's like done now, like officially.
Yeah.
My best moment also has to do with Glenn. Glenn getting kicked out of the FBI was my favorite moment.
Yeah.
When Betty basically is like, "Bye, bitch. See you later." I like that moment a lot.
WTF moment.
WTF moment. I'm gonna say Veronica putting a hit on Hiram. Mostly just because like it escalated so quickly. Like, it would have been nice if she's like, I spoke to my dad and like he didn't really sound like he did that, and then maybe she got more proof and then she decided like,
and then I
just wish it like gradually got there. She's like, I'm gonna put a hit on him, he gonna die now.
He did. Yeah,
like, you lived with this man for 5 seasons, you didn't kill him. Now all of us, like, I get it, what he did was fucked up, but like it just escalated too quickly for me, and I'm like, whoa, like this is very thing of her character, so it's like, what's gonna happen now? And the fact that we don't see his death ultimately, like we don't even get to see the photo, and I had FOMO because I was like, I want to see
wanted to see the murder,
at least like show like the outline and like blood or something, like show something. Like, they didn't
like
even
a flash
cut to
of
anything.
a hand with blood or something. Anything. Yeah, I agree with you. Because does that make you feel like it's still possible that
100%, 100%, he's still alive? I feel like he found out that she tried to kill him, and now he's like playing her and maybe trying to see like what she does next,
and maybe like hiding with Hermosa.
Like, and Hermosa's like playing her too. I feel like I feel like they're on the same side, but again, it's exactly to what end? It's like he's not even on the show anymore, and like we're still talking about him, like,
so maybe he is actually dead then, like, and maybe that's it. Like, we just have to like believe that he's dead, and then we have to deal with the consequences of whatever Veronica
I feel like
does
then
next.
they should have killed him when he left. When it was his last episode, he should have died. Like, he could have done the bomb, and then something happened and like his car blew up or something, like something fucking epic. Like, instead this guy just like drives off. Like,
I guess it wouldn't have made like Veronica solely responsible for it then.
For sure. But they could have maybe done that.
They could have done something, because she was ready to kill him even at that point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she still could have like figured something out.
She could have done something.
Yeah.
For sure. My WTF moment goes to glowing Glenn, because when I saw that was the first time I saw the glow. I was like, what is happening? This superpower, CW, special effects, like, what's happening here?
Well, When because when you said that, I was like, when it cut to Glenn, before he even started to glow, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna see him glow. She's gonna know he's the TBK. So I was already expecting it because like she's seeing the evil, right? I'm like, oh shit, she's gonna know he's TBK. But then he like tries to hit on her, so I'm like, oh, she's thinking it's the red because like of that, like not because of the TBK.
Sketchy.
Yeah,
that's so interesting that you thought it was Glenn this whole time. I never really.
I thought we talked about that. No,
I know that I know that we did, but I guess we forgot about like who he is now. I just didn't know who he was at this point. I was like, he's probably a random person.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I just think it would have been too obvious if it was Glenn. That's the only thing. Like it would have been really, guys. Like honestly.
Really, it was Glenn.
Yeah,
but it wasn't Glenn.
MVP.
I'm gonna have to say, Mark Consuelos lives on. Hiram Lodge lives on strong. Mans is not even in the show anymore, and he's still being talked about like every other scene,
causing the drama.
So that's an MVP for me. Like when you don't even have to show your face on set and you're still a main character.
Yeah,
like that's MVP. Like Nana has to put in the hours to be on the set, but not
she needs
Hiram.
to get that makeup done. Yeah, she needs to put that glass eye in. Like she's got to work.
I will say MVP for sure Hiram, but I will say like I can't wait till we get to a point in Veronica's storyline where like he's no longer the counterpart to her. Like we've been done with that. Like let her find another sort of challenge, conflict, like darkness. That's not him. He's gone now.
And I think that going back to what I was saying, like I just wish that they had already resolved this or talked it out or like had a moment. But the last moment that they had was when she tied him to the chair and was like, you need to tell me where this and this is. Remember that moment? Like where she like basically like holds him hostage.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be their big moment.
Yeah.
And for me it wasn't, and I got sad about that.
Yeah.
And now we're here and he's technically dead, and now Veronica's like, I don't know.
And also, I'll really quick before we harp on this, Hiram Lodge, if he was that sick of like a villain, like cool villain, he would have been like, you know what, Riverdale, you're a trash ass town. I don't even care about you. I'm out. Like he wouldn't have done the bomb. He wouldn't have like, someone else could have done the bomb. He wouldn't have like tried to kill whatever, because he could have, if he's truly like such a big criminal, he would have been like, okay, I'm not even gonna waste my time anymore like doing this to you guys. And like for his last moments to still be like for a 17-year-old kid and like a town, like it was just
why. Yeah, for sure. My MVP is gonna go to Betty because I feel like she did a lot of things this episode. She did stuff, so proud of her.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, Barchie's going strong. Like Barchie,
they're
Barchie is so strong that they don't even need to like be obviously Barchie. Like they just have these really cute moments in between, and you're like, oh yeah, they're together. Like, oh my god.
It's funny. It's interesting because we haven't even talked about it until our roundups, but this show is not even about that anymore. Which is wild.
Just gonna say that. It's like this episode.
Nothing to do with Barchie.
Nothing to do with any ships. Nothing to do with who's together this week. And sure, we all want that. Every series should have that like push and pull, but it doesn't always have to be about the ships. And this episode to me showed exactly that, because I was like, oh my god, we weren't suffocated by this storyline of like it's Barchie or it's this or that. They were just together.
They were together. Yeah. So
it's just true that you said that. Yeah.
But it is interesting to see, because I want to know what other people think about that, because it was so heavy on that in the beginning. Like are now the shippers like F the show, like these storylines are weird. Like I want to know what people are actually like, what are they getting from the show at this point? Because we're following for the storylines, we're following for some of the characters, but like the ships were never something that we like.
I think it's a certain demographic of the audience that wants the ships, and I know with like our listeners and our viewers, like they're okay with like stuff being a bit more subtle, like leaning into other storylines. Like they're more down for that. A show, you can't just do ships. Like it's boring after a while, and it's like, guys, there's more to it than just going back and forth. Having said that, I still think we're gonna get that. Obviously, it's Riverdale. It's just right now, like they want to get to these like juicier storylines. So
juicy supernatural storylines. We have no idea what they're gonna do next.
LVP
is Veronica for obvious reasons. I just think like what she did was pretty very like quick and like escalated very fast. And then also the lying to Reggie at the end. Like now to your point, does this lead her down a more evil path of like, I'm just gonna lie about this, I'm gonna cover it up, and I'm gonna keep doing whatever? Maybe. But like when she lied, I was like my jaw dropped. I was like, oh,
you're just gonna
it was the first time for me where like you could see Veronica not have the balls to face what she had done and like be like okay with that decision that she just made, because she is very ballsy and she's very like, I did this and I'm gonna do this and I got this. But that's the first time you're seeing her being like, what the fuck did I just do? Yeah. And maybe
he does say something interesting. He does say like, I didn't think that you're not that person.
Yeah.
Oh,
he said that to her. Person. He's like, I knew you weren't like that. And then she was like, oh, like she felt even worse. Because she's like, I am that bitch. But what I was going to say was like, you know, if this happened before when she was with Archie, like he's her like sort of like moral compass maybe, or like he would bring her back. But maybe Reggie doesn't have that in him to like bring her back to, I don't know. There's something different. I necessarily
agree with that. I think that like she just is ignoring
maybe what he's giving.
Like, maybe she doesn't have maybe he doesn't have the same gravity, but I also don't think that Archie would have.
No, maybe she would have lied to Archie
probably would. He probably would have lied to Archie as well, or maybe even Archie would have been like, kill him, like he's tried to kill him like multiple times. Like who knows at this point?
I don't know.
But they're not together, so it doesn't really matter.
But either way, LVP.
Yeah. My LVP is gonna be Mary, because she literally shows up after 6 fucking episodes 20 years later, and then she sells her house to her son and she dips.
She makes like, a killing.
Bye. Yeah, she makes $10,000 off this house and then she leaves.
The best line. Best line is gonna go to Cheryl when she says, I can't believe I'm asking this, but to free Britta, do we have to perform an exorcism? Like it would just crack me up, because I was like, she's over the magic too. Like, oh, perform an exorcism.
I don't want to do an exorcism.
Yeah, it was funny.
So true. My line is actually Cheryl's as well. She says to Britta at the beginning of the episode, she says, I believe a new age of wonderment is upon us. And I thought it was like a call out from the writers, the creators, directors, basically saying, Riverdale watchers, get ready, because this new age is going to be an age of wonderment, and it is upon us, and we are like doing this now. Like this is the moment.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
This is the moment.
We will see what happens next. This is going to be a wild ride. Going to our listener roundups, we only got one because I feel like NB was saying,
there's a couple on IG actually. So maybe say hers and then we'll get into some of the ones from IG.
Perfect. So as Shoni5 Audit says, WTF moment, Betty and Archie having superpowers. Really? Best moment, seeing Tabitha and Jughead. Worst moment, Veronica's storyline. Oh, okay. MVP, Jabitha, and LVP, Archie being rash. Fangs acting. Ooh. And not gonna lie, I'm not really feeling Barchie. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Fangs acting. Yeah, I definitely like sometimes agree with that.
But
maybe we won't get into it. Let's not get into that. Okay, some of your answers, guys, from our Instagram question for best moment. Dylan Swain says best moment is when Betty and Archie confronted Trevor at the hospital. Ben Berth, Betty hitting Glenn. So that's a big one. Royal Council member, Betty punching that asshole. Get him, girl. Gotta stand up for ourselves. Kat Mikhail, me being right about Glenn not being the TBK. He could never have the stomach for that occupation. Wow. Melissa Weekly, all the Betty and Archie moments, especially the last scene when they get together. Kat writes again, Betty literally shooting Glenn away. Hysterical.
Just like, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, shooing. Yeah, sorry. And then Kat again, oh, there's so many, but Tabitha being a rock for Jughead and Betty reassuring Archie she is all in. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
and then
I mean, we did kind of skirt around those, but yeah, for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
there's other shit going on.
Yeah, And I like when that happens. Like, it's not always
Yeah.
about, like, obviously we said like the ships. WTF moment, Dylan, is when Nana Rose transfer Abigail's spirit into Cheryl's body without her knowing. Yeah, that was a good WTF moment. Cheryl, and then La Playa edits, Cheryl, Abigail possession, ? Ben, birth, Archie and Betty having some sort of superpowers due to the explosion. And the whole Abigail plot, especially Nana Rose being involved. Royal Council member Archie deciding it was a good idea to fight the ghoulies. Yeah, they have powers, but like, dude. I think it's Sierra. The whole Cheryl storyline, like, what the F is this about? It's Marta K, Barchie getting powers. Are they the new Avengers? Basically. And then Melissa Weekly, Veronica getting a hitman to kill Hiram, and Nana Rose putting Abigail into Cheryl's body. Lots of different WTF moments there.
Totally. And I would agree with all those.
Real quick, Betty, MVP is Betty, LVP Nana Rose, MVP. I'm just trying to like see who's saying what. MVP is Tabitha, MVP to Alice for being the only parent to care and take their kid to the hospital. Melissa Weekly with the realty. Yeah, FBI are literally on the case why they kill him. Yeah, so a lot of Bettys. Can't forget the Alice's. Who's this one? Oh, this is the best line. Dylan, Betty says, "Fly away, little birdie shoe." Said to Glenn. When did she say that?
Yeah, she says it like when he's like getting kicked out of the office. That was really good. That was my favorite.
La Playa edits, whatever it is, I think that we should face it together. Betty to Archie. Ben, Glenn, you're crazy. You know that. And Betty says, you have no idea. That is a good one. Melissa Weekly, Archie saying, I'm getting stronger, denser, invulnerable. LMAO. That took me out. Kat, which one of you bums put a bomb under my bed? Who said that? Oh, Archie. Oh, Archie, to the ghoulies. Yeah. To the ghoulies. Yeah. Sierra, we'll get through this together. Tabitha, most grounded character. Truly the most grounded character. That is the best word for her.
That's exactly. She's like, forget this nonsense you guys are dealing with. I gotta run a fucking diner.
Seriously.
Like,
thank you guys so much for your roundups. That's awesome.
Thank you.
There's so many of them. Yeah.
Amazing.
All right. I think that's it.
That is our episode. But before we finish up, I would like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode, our Rewinder squad, still going strong, everybody. White and Nicole, and we got our lit rewinders, Tina Ann, Soleil, and Kate, and our mommy rewinders, Becca, Sarah, Tamala, Grace, and Cliff. Thank you
guys. If you'd like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind.
And also make sure you guys are checking out on our socials, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You can also find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, reviewing, and commenting to stay engaged with us at Recap Rewind. Thanks for listening.
So good to be back.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.